Hello, everybody. This is Justin Case of American Newscape, joining our friend and media personality, Jerry Maldonado, back for another installment of Meatball Therapy. Hello, Jerry. Welcome back to American Newscape.
Well, hello, Mr. Meatball. How are you? I missed you last week, Mr. Techie, who can't figure out the computer. So it all happens, but I'm glad to be back. Thank you. I missed you.
Well, I missed you too, Jerry, and this show actually means a lot more to me than I ever thought it would. But that being said, let's get
You
after
feel
this.
guilty, huh?
Well, guilty's not a thing I do, but I understand you feeling a little bitter that you missed the show.
You me? No, Meatball. I'm just a love machine, man. But there's a lot of bitterness going on out there, huh? From my perspective and your perspective and what we're seeing on the media, because that's our job. What you and I do is we kind of do the surfing and the scoping, and we're seeing what's going on in the world. And my oldest one had to deal with that recently. This gave me the idea, kind of brought back memories. So, but when it
Okay.
comes to bitterness and all the synonyms that are involved with it's people who live with that kind of feeling and all the synonyms that go with bitterness, and that we got to watch out what we say sometimes here on America's Newscape and the world itself. But you guys can figure it out for yourself. Bitterness is like you drinking poison, waiting on your enemy to die. And watching what my oldest had to go through just because she pointed out something that's going on in today's news to somebody else's disbelief, verbally just yelled at her for it. And it really struck her. And I said, welcome to the world. I said, welcome to 50% doing one way and 50% doing another. And I've always told her, I said, keep your beliefs kind of to yourself unless somebody talks about them first, because you don't want to hurt anybody. You don't want to offend anybody, sadly. We're in the times now where bitterness is kind of like everywhere. And I don't know why, because if people realize, and I got a great example for you on what bitterness does to every molecule of our being, the trillions of cells. I actually did a show on that the other night about how emotions affect us on our physical level. But if people realize it, and I got proof in the pudding to show people that if you stay in this state of mind, if you can't release what has gotten you so angry or what has hurt you throughout your life or what's going on in the world today, it's literally going to eat you from the inside out.
Well, you're exactly right, Jerry. And I remember when the shift to that type of behavior, creating the resentment and society trying to modify itself in an
Hmm.
overcorrection. And the first time I noticed it was participation trophies.
You bring up a great point with that. And that, I mean, you and I had to work for our trophies, man. Or whatever we did, we had to work countless hours. But to me, when you start conditioning people at a young age, because it's quite ironic, we're born into love. We're literally
Yeah.
born by two souls, but then taught how to hate, or taught how to be bitter, or taught how to do all these things in life. When people realize that when they get bigger, obviously, and they can realize that they have control over this, sadly, it's already been installed in so many ways. I was raised around it. I was conditioned in it to be bitter, angry, and all these other facets of life just because of the environment I was in. And I was watching how people were being affected by it. It really scared me. And basically, all of them are gone now. And literally, it took them very early in that matter because they used to self medicate and all these things to counteract. Why? When it's just a paradigm shift in their belief system. It's
What?
realizing the power that they have. It's realizing the kind of person they can be, but it's a choice. Indeed, it's a choice to make that shift from true love to whatever conditioning that has brought you down. back to true love again in life. Bitterness will be alleviated from your thought process if you practice getting rid of it every day.
Well, I agree with you, Jerry. And, a lot of those people wallow in misery. And in that misery, I think they come up with some form of uh, bitter behavior, beliefs to justify why they find themselves there. They always have an enemy that's always somebody else's fault.
The mind plays tricks on us, huh?
Yeah,
The mind will actually tell you that it's okay to not like somebody when your heart is saying, Meatball, don't. It's destroying you. People rather listen to their mind instead of their heart, sadly, because your heart is the way. It's your magnetic force to guide you where you want to go in life. It's like your gut feeling. It's the same thing. People sadly have chosen their thought process over their emotional process to make decisions about their life. Sadly, incongruent with what other people have been telling them. I actually believe that. It's like the sky is falling. Okay, cool. And even though it's not falling, they're going to believe it.
right.
They're going to start actually acting out the part, and this is what's going on today with the internet. With all these opinions, which is good, mind you. I love it. It gives us the opportunity to make choices in life. But if you really actually think something, even though your heart is telling you it's not right, people actually convince themselves. And then once they experience the backlash from it, from that thought process and their experiences, and they say, "Wait, for me, no, Meatball, you just got to change the way you think, change how you feel about life." When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That is not just some abstract, inspirational kind of words here. It's a metaphorical process of changing how you think to feel better about yourself.
Well, Jerry, let me explain to you how I cope with a lot of that. And I've said,
You?
yeah, I've said many
No.
times that if negative energy is coming in consistently from a source, I will divest myself from that source, whether it's a person, a TV show, a social media platform. I just don't let it affect me. Now, I don't hate those platforms. I don't resent those people. I just have made a conscious decision that I don't need that negative energy.
Oh, you're right. You're right. But I got a question for you, and this
Okay.
is what I'm actually I'm personally dealing with at work. When you're in an environment with people who are conditioned that way, I mean, how do you handle it? You can't just leave. I mean, you can't just walk away. And there's millions of people in that scenario right now where they're in a place where they can't literally get out, be it financial obligations or relationships or whatever it might be. They're literally there and they're inundated with negativity and bitterness and people that just don't know how to control their pain. This is what I got to deal with every day. And I said, look, I got 20 different personalities in the place that I run that I have to monitor and manage every day.
All right.
It's a matter of trying to control the frequency in the room by being an example. So my question to you is, from my perspective and your perspective, how do you get away from that? It's a hard answer to come up with because a lot of people are saying, but it's not my fault. I'm around it all day long. Indeed, they can use that excuse, but from my perspective, it is you can either block it out, which is almost impossible because you're surrounded by it. Or how can you manage it better? It has always been my question to people.
Well, if you have empathy, and you do, you do have empathy,
Ah,
that can be a burden because knowing you, you're wanting to try and help these people. And in some instances, after a while, you do recognize that they don't really want to be helped. They want to vent.
yeah,
So
you're
so
right. You're right.
so if
Go ahead.
all they're doing is venting, I just turn it off. They don't want any help.
Hmm.
They don't want any suggestions. So they're again in life and business, and it's not that I work for myself. Even a client, I'll divest myself of a client
Yeah.
because it's just
People,
all, it's negative how it affects me.
you're right. Great point. Because you're literally absorbing it. You're absorbing the energy around you. So it's imperative that you be the power source of good, and that'll actually magnetize. It works a lot in my situation at the work in the work that I do. I don't have to worry about it at home. My home is literally like heaven.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry
Well,
about
that's,
that.
that's good. You
But,
have it.
but when you're
So,
dealing with a place where you have to be, um, I tell people if you're not happy, then there's other places you can be. You don't have to
absolutely.
take your pain out on other people. You know what I'm saying? But I interrupted. Go ahead.
No, but you're blessed because you have a safe haven. Some people don't. They
Yeah.
leave a work
Well,
environment of misery, then they go home to a home environment of misery, and
great point.
pretty soon, that's the aura that they're putting out there, and that's what's coming back to them. People are venting to you because you're a resource. You'll listen. You do have empathy, and you want to help them. Most of those people have burned out every bridge they have. Just burned them to the ground. People just don't listen. People just don't care about them anymore.
Well, you bring up a great point. Created. I created this space. What's the difference between me and Jane and John who can't do the same? And you're right, a great triggering point here. I always tell people you can do the same with your life. You can create a place where your own sanctuary. They call it a man cave or a she cave or a she house. I don't know what kind of pronouns they use anymore to create these places. All I'm saying is you have to create a place to let it go.
Yeah,
You got to create a place to allow yourself to be yourself, or else the world is just going to collapse around you. And let me just, I love doing this because, first off, one side is when you and I took a little break many, many moons ago. You're going to see a photo of me. We don't have the backdrop. Maybe we can figure it out, or we can put this on a bigger screen. This is what I do when I blow people's mind. When somebody is losing control, and I can see them going downhill in a lot of ways in life, I show them two pictures. I said, you may not notice this now, but in a few years, you're going to start seeing the results from bitterness, anger, resentment, shame, guilt, and all these destructive emotions that people carry around every day, use excuses that life is bad, but yet don't understand why they keep recreating that. It was the biggest wake up call for me and the best trophy I can give to myself because transformation, you don't really see um, quick results. It's all an evolution. It's like planting a seed in the ground, man. It's planting a seed in the ground. You're believing that it's going to grow. You're watering it with whatever you're doing. In essence, transformation is watering it with thought, word, and deed every day to conform what you're believing in. Well, you don't really see the results until somebody else shows you. And
okay.
how it was shown to me was the DMV, man. The DMV, which is great because you can't Photoshop these. I mean, this is a beautiful way of showing people how transformation works on a structural level of every molecule of our being. If you choose this path, you're going to be guaranteed these kind of results. And hopefully I can get it out here. I'm going to put it in front of the camera and let me know if you can see it correctly, and then I'll show my Facebook audience. Can you actually see that? Can you focus in on that?
Not really, but if they go to your Facebook page, they can.
But look at the one on one side, and you can see the one on the other. Those are 12 years apart, and I'll show my Facebook people out there. And I've shown this on my show a couple, three times. That's the physical result of you changing your thought and your body responding.
Absolutely.
And it should be the biggest wake up call for people to let them realize that you can create a better life or you can destroy your current life just by how you're feeling every day and what you're sending out to the world. I can't emphasize it enough because I'm looking at these photos here. that are from the usually they're the crappiest photos in the world. But when I'm able to keep the old licenses, and when I saw one, I said, wait a minute, there I am, and there I was. And if people can do that with their own life, have proof given to you by somebody else, not yourself, it says, wow, this is what I really look like. These are the results that I'm getting. It should be the biggest wake up call or the biggest participation trophy because you're helping yourself. Because
Well,
you're helping yourself. You should
yeah.
have this bronze and put on your shelf. This is how far I become in life. And it should help people tremendously. But go ahead.
Well, no, Jerry, I just like to revisit the people that work with you that are having these issues. They're blessed to have you in their life because there's nobody better and willing to share tools to them that might help enhance their lot in life. Now, if they don't want to listen, that's fine. They don't have to listen.
Mhm.
If they just want to wallow in misery, I think you've done everything you can for them. So it's a matter, we talk all the time. If you want to do transformation, you have to be willing to change.
Yeah, I mean, you have to make the conscious choice, and that's basically all it is. It's you making a conscious choice, saying, "I hate the way I live, meatball. I'm gonna create a new meatball," and that's all it is. It's you deciding on the new person you want to be. It sounds so, hairy fairy to some people because they're so used to being around rotten apples. So okay, fine, they become part of that tree. And then all of a sudden they start blaming life for their issues when no, they got to look at the core inside themselves, how they've been conditioned in life. I mean, they always say, rotten from the core. Indeed, that's where it all starts. That's because it was put there by other sources, other people, traditions, religion, whatever it might be. But it's up to you to expunge it. It's up to you to realize that, wait a minute, I'm the problem because I'm the source. I just got to create a new cell tower. I got to create a new frequency, a new
Yes.
source of energy, and that will magnetize everything out there to what I'm looking at. That's why if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. It's your perspective on how you see life. Sounds so simple, maybe a little philosophical, but inevitable that if you don't do it, you're going to end up like the Jerry that was on the left of the picture, who you and I departed to for a little hiatus while I went through my issues and you were reconstructing your life in a better way. We all had to evolve into the Jerry that you saw on the right side. It could be left or right, compared to the camera angle, but people will get the gist of it. And especially, like I said, if they visit my site as well, you can see photos of that on there. And I proudly put them up there as my own participation trophy about who I've become.
Well, absolutely, Jerry. This show you're always willing to share with us. You don't demand that we adapt. You just share information with us that can be energizing or beneficial or share a new perspective that can help us. Because, the other thing you and I always talk about, we're all always honing the craft.
Yes.
It's a constant work in progress, and I anticipate we'll be better at it this time next year than we are today. And that's all we can do for ourselves. It's that baby step approach.
Yeah, indeed. I forgot. I saw a post. Actually getting a show ready for that. If you read 15 pages a day, you end up reading 15 books a year. I mean, it's really that simple. It's you taking a few. I mean, imagine edifying yourself on something like that. It'll naturally evolve. But sadly, people do that with their emotions about the past. They're constantly rereading it on social media about what happened to them, looking at the memories. They're just re-edifying what they already know. To change your life, you got to change your life. It's changing what you look at, changing what you're allowing in, changing the people around you. You start doing. I mean, the whole point of all this is, I just don't like to see people destroy themselves. I'm looking at people like at work and around. I'm like, what? Do you understand what you're doing? And I'm living proof of that evolutionary process in my physicality just by changing my friggin' thought process. It's really that simple. But you and I talk about this many times in American Newscape. It's a process. It's baby steps, and few people have the patience for that because they're so enveloped with looking back on where they've been instead of where they can go.
Well, and you're much your your generosity of empathy goes a lot further than mine because mine will stop. You know, if enough not
Yeah,
listening, I just
you
I don't care anymore.
well,
I don't care that you're the coyote and you can only buy Acme rockets. I just don't care.
you love the Saturday morning cartoons. I can tell now. You loved it.
That's the other
So
that's the other problem with society. We don't have good Saturday morning cartoons anymore.
look how I mean I can honestly tell you a gallon of milk, a box of cereal on Saturday morning was my forte. That was the best time because you went into a world that was literally sunshine, flowers, and roses for hours.
Well,
And to me, I didn't want to do Monday through Friday. I just wanted Saturday morning. I just wanted to see the Flintstones. I just wanted to see all these shows that'll put me in a better place because where I was, the home life, it sucked. So people can do that, follow that same kind of concept in their life, create a space that'll create the kind of Saturday morning feeling in your life. And you'll slowly, because it brought me, it made me understand that there's a different world out there than where I was. That's a great metaphor. I mean, for us in our upper echelon of age, the Saturday morning was our religion. It was our way of life. And if people can find that now, sadly, you're having a lot of beliefs getting thrown at you every day. Political parties, political sides, religions. I mean, everything is getting thrown at us, but it's our choice, like you mentioned before, to choose what we want to let in and what we want to let out. It's all about choice.
well, you know, it's like if it's the entertainment you choose. If you choose comedians that are vulgar, you're basically allowing that into your psyche, into your life. It's going to have an influence on you. If you listen to comedians that are clean comedians, that'll help reinforce you if that's what you want. And it's everything. Everything goes into the database. Everything that you're exposed
Yes,
to goes into the
yes,
database, and you have to develop the skills to purge bad data. Just
yes.
get it out of your life, get it out of your thinking, and try and move on. Doesn't mean it won't creep in occasionally, but going through the process of getting rid of it, it'll be easier to get rid of it next time.
What you let in will eventually come out.
Yeah.
However way you let it in, it's going to come out naturally. If you let it in enough, it's going to start flowing as your identity. Your identity has become your personality. From your personality becomes your personal reality. And if people can realize how powerful they really are
Oh
and
yeah.
what they're letting in is constructing that database to create the behaviors that are construct that reality just by you living it every day. It's not hard to figure out. It's a conscious choice to follow through.
Well, absolutely. And the more toxic of a thing you let in, it can help. It can start polluting all kinds of things in your mind.
Everything,
Yeah.
everything. I mean, I love using my oldest daughter, Piggy Mom, I call her.
The Wrangler. She's a piggy wrangler.
Yeah, Piggy. She came here almost 2 years ago, and came here, and don't get me wrong. I don't judge people's environment, but compared from now and from back then. She came here. I mean, I would talk to her every day. Obviously, I'm her dad. I would say, "Hey, how are you?" Before she moved in. Now it's like, "Hey, are you in your room?" But before she came here, she was constantly sick. I mean, colds, constantly colds. This doctor visits. I mean, every week she was going to the doctor for something. She literally became psychosomatic over a toothache. It became crazy. Since she's been here, she's had one cold.
Yeah.
How is that? Why is that? It just shows you that how powerful your thoughts are because they literally break down your immune system. We're not born to be stressed out all day. We're not born to live in negativity. We're born into love. But if you don't follow through on how and why you came here, hence the love version of life, you can only get more of what you don't want in life.
Well, and when she moved back in with you, it enhanced her life and yours, and it was very apparent.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's what I always wanted anyway. I mean, even back in the
No.
12 by 12, I wanted my kids not because of their mother, no, because I just wanted my kids. It's something that you
Right.
wanted. I wanted them no matter what. It's like, unconditional love to the third power. It just, not just to be there, but I know the environment I can create that will be the foundation of their future. And
Right.
that's all I really care about. It's the dad thing. It's being there not to save them, but to show them. And if they just do this naturally every day, not preaching or teaching, just following through on this kind of life of peace and abundance and focusing on yourself, you're going to attract that replica, that reflection of you out to the world. I
Well,
always told them they were a billboard when they were children. I said, what you're advertising as yourself, you're going to get responses to, meaning like the clothes you wear. And to be careful on what you're advertising from yourself because that is going to be your attraction force in life. So why not edify yourself on a mental level to do it both ways?
well, absolutely. And you've seen a lot of personal growth in her as we've seen personal growth in you because of this.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Well,
absolutely.
well,
But like
Jerry,
I said, it all goes down to a choice, my friend. And go ahead, I'll let you finish up.
no, no, I was going to suggest you wrap us up. So why don't you explain to us how it all comes down to a choice, and we'll listen to what you have to say.
Like people, what helped me tremendously was just knowing what I wanted. It's not a hard sell here. I wanted a better life for myself mentally, physically, spiritually, financially. But it starts like we had talked about the apple tree, man. Check the core. You might have this beautiful apple on the outside. It might be shiny and bright, but if you cut it and it's rotten in the middle, and not because a bug or a fungus got in there, it's because life got in there. You got to check your core. You got to see where all the energy, the main power source is emitting from that you can't see, but you're attracting every day with your thoughts and your feelings. Check your core, work on your beliefs, try to let go of the past as much as you can. Most importantly, work on yourself.
I like that. I like that, and
Well, thank you.
I will endeavor to try and work on myself some more. Hey, hey, everybody! This has been Justin Case and Jerry Maldonado, bringing you Meatball Therapy. Thanks for joining us. Remember, additional information and links are provided in this video's read more. And everybody, let's try and be a little less bitter this upcoming week.
Yeah, bitter,
Yeah,
bitter.
bitter, 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 bitter. All right, today's the day to subscribe to this channel. Please learn more about Jerry Maldonado when time permits.
Permit.